It's going down. Alright, Shalom Israel. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha, Hadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four quarters of the earth, pushing his truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai. And welcome to another series of It's Going Down, being brought to you by the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. WEF declares AI will usurp God's throne and rule humanity. Now, there's been a lot of rhetoric and a lot of talking points, if you will, that have been going on within the economic forum. A lot of talks of AI governance, AI being able to mimic human emotions, think like a human, react like a human, being able to live amongst humans. And we can clearly see where this society is heading, in which it is heading towards a technocracy. Which, when you go into the word technocracy, you got tech, which is short for technique. And then you got ocracy, which means rule of. So the rule of techniques, or you can also say the rule of technology, because tech can also be short for technology. Okay? So we're entering into a society where the new government is going to be AI surveilling your talking points, where you're going, what you're buying, what you're reading, what you believe in, your social patterns, your social behaviors, what you can buy, what you cannot buy, how many credits you have, and the list goes on. Excuse me. And this will lead to complete control, and not only complete control, but total tyranny, where basically they want a world that's in complete totalitarianism, with the so-called elites, the heads of controlling this technology. Okay, they want a totalitarian and a tyrannical society where basically AI will be able to dictate your life, where you can go, where you cannot go, when you can buy, when you cannot buy. And the beloved brother Yashawamba from the Dallas camp uploaded a video where it showed an AI video of she could have been Chinese or Japanese, whatever, they both look the same, but basically she was living in a society ran by technocracy. And you see when she wanted to purchase the red meat, she was denied, and then she was told to try mealworms instead. Now, in a post, I believe 2 years ago, there was an article that came out where the so-called elites basically said that they want people to eat bugs and lentils. Okay? So this is what they want to reduce the population down to. They want people to get on their knees and bow and worship them, And the majority of the world is going to do it because they're not of the elect. However, if we go to Daniel real quick, because in the book of Daniel, there were 3 notable men who did not bow the knee at the golden image. And as a result, there was a punishment that was to be carried out. They were to be thrown into the fiery furnace. Okay, so I'm gonna just get straight to the point, right? Now, here in this chapter, just to give you just to tell you what this chapter is in a nutshell. Okay, Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold. Okay, this was a golden image, which at the end of the day was an idol. Okay, he made an image of gold. Okay, whose height was 60 cubits. So this was a pretty tall statue, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. And basically, Nebuchadnezzar put out a decree that whenever the people would hear the sound of the instruments, right? Which the instruments that were played were musical instruments. Okay? They were musical instruments, right? That at the sound of the musical instruments playing, everyone was to bow the knee at the golden image. Okay? Daniel 3 verse 7. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the flute, heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar, the king had set up. So this image was an idol that people had bowed before, because images can also be an idol. So these people bowed, right? They when it says they fell down, it means they bowed the knee and they worshipped the golden image. Okay? Wherefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews, okay, the Israelites of the southern kingdom, because the Jews are talking about Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, which make up the southern kingdom, which so-called Negroes come from the tribe of Judah, Haitians come from the tribe of Levi, and West Indians, aka Jamaicans, come from the tribe of Benjamin. So it says, they spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, has made a decree. Okay, now we're coming into a time where the so-called elites is going to make a decree. Okay, you either get down with the New World Order, or get laid down, if you know what I mean. Because they plan on deleting a lot of people for refusing to accept this New World Order, this tyrannical technocrat society. Okay, and the modern day kings today would be the so-called global elites who call themselves Rothschilds or Rockefellers. Thou, O king, has made a decree that every man shall hear the sound of the every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, which instruments is how you make music, right? Shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worship, that he should be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. So guess what? There are certain men on this planet that are of the elect, because we know none of the elect is going to bow the knee to the image of the beast, which the image of the beast is the new world order. Okay, a way of living. Okay, the beast system. And you already got the masses of the people, especially here in America, wandering after the beast, like it tells you in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter. No, we don't know what you're talking about. Well, how are we wandering after the beast? How are we wandering after the beast? You're wandering after the beast by your manner of life, how you're living. Calling on Jesus, smoking, getting tattoos. Some of you, a lot of you niggas are ready to sacrifice friends, family, cousins, nephews, aunties, mothers, dads, just to be a part of the new world order. The image of the beast is the new world order. Okay, and what comes with the new world order? There's a particular way that you have to walk and live on this planet in order to be accepted in the new world order, okay? Which means living a constant life of sin. So you already got people wandering after the beast, smoking, doing drugs, selling drugs, gang banging, making all kinds of demonic and inappropriate music. All this shit is a part of wandering after the beast. Okay, the worshiping of Jesus Christ. Okay, you got people worshiping Jesus Christ. It's 2026, and you still got Negro, Latino, and Native Indians worshiping Jesus Christ. You're wandering after the beast, because Jesus Christ said that you can eat whatever you want to eat. You could do whatever you want to do to your body. You could lie down with your neighbor's wife. You could be a mole. You could dye your hair blue, orange, purple, yellow. Green. Jesus said that you can get tattoos. You can sell drugs. You can do drugs. Because when he come back, he's going to forgive you for all your sins. He's going to hug you. Okay, he going to give you a box of Hershey bars. He going to kiss you on your cheek and tell you everything's going to be all right, baby. Oh, ha, kumbaya. Nah, man. See? So, you got people living how they want to live because of the worshiping of idols, or because some don't even believe in a God. How the fuck are you an Israelite and you don't believe in a God? Well, chances are, if you look like an Israelite and you don't believe in a God, more than likely you're a terror. Because every Israelite on this planet have some kind of fear or reverence for the Heavenly Father. Point blank, period. Okay? So, man, how the hell you gonna look like an Israelite but not believe in a higher God? A higher power. But anyways. Okay, you got people already wandering after the beast. Which means they're ripe for the taking. When hell break loose, okay, they're gonna be readily available to take that chip, to be accepted into the new world order. And taking that chip means what? Bowing the knee. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee, They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego would represent the elect of their time. Okay? Now, in this generation, the elect is more than just 3 men. The elect is 144,000 chosen men, 12,000 from each tribe. And then you got the rest of the elect, which is the 1/3, which is that large multitude spoken of in the book of Revelation, the 7th chapter. Okay, and that large multitude consists of helps, so supporters of the ministry, women and children. Okay. Which will also come from other countries from around the world, because you have the Lord's elect that are scattered around the world. Like it tells you in Isaiah 11 verse 11, when the Lord said that he would set his hand the second time to gather the remnant of his people, which shall be gathered from Cush, Elam, Pathros, okay, and so forth. So the elect is amongst every nation on the planet. Excuse me, not every nation. The elect is amongst the elect is on the four corners of the earth. That's what I meant to say. The elect is on the 4 corners of the earth, and when Yahushua come back, his angels is going to gather his elect by beaming his elect up into what the world calls spaceships or UFOs. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, you see, the so-called the elites, they're going to be full of rage and fury at the Lord's elect that's going to refuse to bow the knee to the New World Order, which is tied to what? Revelation. Let's get there real quick. As a matter of fact, let's do this, because I have it memorized. Let's go to Revelation. See? Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. See, the so-called elites, the so-called global elites is going to be full of rage and fury at those who will, at the Lord's elect, because they are going to refuse to bow the knee to the New World Order. Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath. Having great wrath. Great wrath. Because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Okay? So these so-called elites are going to be filled with fury and rage, and that fury and rage is going to lead to them coming down with great wrath, because they know that they have but a short time. So then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. And it doesn't mean that, these accusers just went up to these 3 guys and said, no. They said, come on, bro, let's go up there and talk with the king. Nah, man. They hemmed them up and dragged them up there. So you really got to put your mind into this. They hemmed these 3 men up and basically dragged them up there. Okay? So they were brought before the king. It says, Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands. And this is the same attitude that the so-called elites are coming with. You know, AI will usurp God's throne and rule humanity. And who is that God that shall stop us and save his people from being ruled? Well, the answer is Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. That's who's going to stop you devils and your wicked plans and your crazy agenda that you're attempting to roll out. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego already had it set in their minds, okay, what they were going to do in case if they were persecuted for not bowing the knee. If it be so, our God, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, whom we serve, right? Okay, and now do not we hopeful members of the elect serve Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai? The Lord said that he will protect his servants. What is a servant? One who serves. So the Lord's servants, which are his prophets, okay, his priests, okay, his deacons, righteous deacons, the ones in GMS, okay, you know, they're all servants. They're all servants of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. The prophets, the priests, the elders, the apostles, the servants, the deacons, the ones in this ministry of the hopeful elect amongst GMS, they are the servants of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Okay, I'm a part of Great Millstone GMS. I serve Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, because I hope to be of the elect and to receive divine intervention and protection, as well as the mercies of David from Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. So if it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. Now, if we go to the book of Zechariah real quick, let's go to Zechariah. Zechariah, the book of Zechariah, or Zechariah, the book of Zechariah. Okay, chapter 13, verse 9. And I will bring the third part through the fire. You see that? Who's the third part? The third part is the elect. Okay, the elect of the nation of Israel is the third part, right? Now, interestingly enough, 3 men was thrown into the fiery furnace. Well, in Zechariah 13, verse 9, what did the Lord say? I will bring the third part through the fire. Now, the third part represents the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, which includes the 144,000 as well as the large multitude, which are all Israelites that are of the elect, spoken of in Revelation, the 7th chapter, which are helps, ministers, ministers to the brotherhood, wives and children. Okay, so the third part is the 1/3, and I will bring the third part, the 1/3, the elect, through the fire. So here it is, the so-called global elites. They're getting ready to have their musicians play their music, and anybody who's not getting down with their New World Order is going to be cast into the fiery furnace. And that fiery furnace is going to come in the form of Jacob's trouble. Right? But you got people out there who's going to bow the knee, who's going to be taken in by the government, fed, protected, secured. They're not going to have to worry about all the terrors and all of the chaos and the deaths and the killings and the murders and all manner of wickedness that's going on out here. They're not going to have to worry about that because they bowed the knee by taking that chip. But as for the Lord's elect, the Lord is going to bring them through the fire. You see? So the so-called global elites is getting ready. The so-called global elites is getting ready to take the Lord's elect and cast them into the fiery furnace. But what did the Lord say? And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, Acts chapter 2, verse 21, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, ye men of Israel. Okay? And it's not just talking about any old man. It's talking about a man that is a worshiper, a servant, and a believer in Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Because what did it say in the book of 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter? Fear not, neither be ye afraid, for I am your guide, save the Lord, and a guide to them that keep my commandments. You see? Now, are we going to be saved on keeping the commandments? No. Okay, the scriptures tell you that the just shall live by faith. That's Habakkuk 2 and 4. The just is going to live by faith. But by faith, faith is going to lead to you keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, which you can keep to the best of your ability, which is a part of your works, spoken of in 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter. And everyone that shall be saved, it shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed. Believed in who? Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Shall be protected from the said perils, and shall see my salvation, and shall see my salvation, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. You see, 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter. So the so-called global elites is getting ready to have his musicians play the instruments, and whoever don't bow the knee to their new world order is going to be cast into the lake of fire. In other words, he's going to come down with great wrath, and it's going to be the time of Jacob's trouble, right? But again, the fire is Jacob's trouble. But what did the Lord say concerning the fire? And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai is my God, my precious God, my awesome power, my awesome ruler, my first king, and my first love. So back in Daniel 3 verse 7, if it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods. And this is the mindset that the Lord's elect have. The Lord's elect have absolutely no intention on bowing the knee to the image of the beast. The elect have no intention on being accepted in society. The elect have no intention of being a part of this new world order technocrat society. The elect have no intention of that. You see? Okay? So but if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy God. So they was ready to die. And we know that the Lord's elect are ready to die if they have to. But I do know this much. The Lord's elect is not going to take the RFID chip, which is the mark of the BEAST. They're not going to take that. They are not going to take that shit. Okay? And they would take their chances living out in the wilderness, you know, putting their trust and faith in Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai for protection, guidance, security, and being fed. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. And the so-called elites have set up an image in this generation. And that image is known as the image of the beast, which is the New World Order. Okay? Then Nebuchadnezzar, full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because of the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You see that? So you can also say that Jacob's trouble can also turn on these different men that's out here causing it, right? Like you might have murder bots and slaughter bots. Well, the Lord can send angels to program them robots to turn on ICE agents or martial law troops and put their ass to death. That's an example of the fire, right? That's an example of the fire, slaying those men that tried to harm the Lord's elect. Because as it is written, do my prophets no harm, right? So there's a lot that can come out of Jacob's trouble, it might be lions and bears roaming the streets, and you might be getting chased by a martial law troop, and then the ICE agent might think, or the martial law troop might think that the lion is coming after you, but then the lion pounces on him and literally eat him alive. That's an example of the flame slaying those men who thought to cast Shadrach, who cast the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into the fiery furnace. You see? You see? So there's a lot that can come out of Jacob's trouble. Okay, we hopeful members of the elect, we just got to remain faithful in Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Okay? And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Woo! And that was Yahweh Shai in that furnace, who delivered Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego from the power of the flame. That was Yahweh Shai who did that. So guess what? Yahushua is about to deliver his men again from a bigger fire, because America is just a big ass fiery furnace. People just don't know it yet because this country has not been hit by nuclear warheads, which will come from Russia, China, North Korea, India, Iran, and North Korea, and NATO. You see? So when Yahushua come back, he gonna deliver his elect men from the fiery furnace by commanding his angels to beam up his elect men from the nuclear destruction of Babylon, which is the United States of America. So this proud, devil right here, WEF chief declares AI will usurp God's throne and rule humanity. Now, when we go to the book of Psalms, the second chapter, book of Psalms, chapter 2, verse 3. Let me see. That's right. Okay. The book of Psalms, chapter 2, verse 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together. Now, it says counselor, right? Well, this dude, he's a chief of this shit, right? So it says that the kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord. So this right here is a council, okay? What they're talking about at this WEF forum. This is a council right here, right? It says, and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, shall have them in derision. And the Lord is going to have these clowns in a state of laughter. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. And the Lord is doing that through his prophets right now. Okay? So that the heathen are raging and imagining a vain thing. So let's read some of this shit. Senior WEF advisor Yuval Noah Harari has proclaimed that artificial intelligence is poised to seize control of humanity's most sacred institutions, including religion itself. Harari, speaking to an elite audience of global leaders and influencers, warned that AI's mastery over language and fundamentally upend book-based faiths, effectively dethroning traditional religious authority. AI will take over religion, Harari declared. AI can take over religion, but I tell you one thing that AI cannot take over: the truth of the Holy Scriptures, which is Yahushai. Yahushai is the truth of the Holy Scriptures, and there's no AI powerful enough to overthrow, dethrone, or take over Yahushai. Because Yahushai is the truth in the Holy Scriptures. And the AI can take over all these religions and throw all these religions out there all they want. The AI can throw all these religions out there all they want. You know why? Because the word of Yahweh, which is the 100% truth of the Holy Scriptures, will be inside of the elect. So we won't need a book to quote scriptures. We won't need a phone to quote scriptures. We won't need a computer to quote scriptures. It will be in us. The word of Yahweh, which is Yahushai, will be in us. Okay? and he will dwell in us. And you know, excuse me, let me humble myself once again. I hope I'm of the elect. You know, I hope I'm of the elect. And I hope Yahweh Shai dwells in me via the 100% truth and the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Holy Scriptures, which is Yahweh Shai. It says, this is particularly true of religions based on books like Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, he added, painting a dystopian future where machines become the ultimate interpreters of Holy Scriptures. And that's not going to work on the elect. Okay? It's not going to work on the elect. Let's type in deceive the very elect, and let's see what it finds. Okay, so that's Matthew 24. Okay, Matthew, because these machines trying to quote scriptures and all this other shit, hey, that's also a part of the false prophets and you know, them false teachers. Because the Lord did not set up robots to teach people. Because if that was the case, he would have been had AI down here teaching people the Holy Scriptures. Okay? Hell, the Bible tells you that the Lord could raise up stones to wake up the children of Israel. Okay? Matthew 24, verse 24, for there shall arise false anointeds and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders. Is not the AI able to show great signs and wonders? I mean, hell, you go on YouTube and you type in Bruce Lee meets Muhammad Ali for the first time. That's a great sign and a great wonder. And it's funny because Bruce Lee never met Muhammad Ali. But there's a YouTube video, apparently, of Bruce Lee meeting with Muhammad Ali on a talk show. And it looks so real and believable that anybody who was recently born on this planet would see that and would think, and would literally think that Bruce Lee actually met Muhammad Ali in real life. As a matter of fact, let's look it up. Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Let's do this. Okay. Video. Sorry. Bruce Lee meets. Yes. Bruce Lee meet Muhammad Ali. Hey, there's a particular video I want to look for. I mean, look at this. Bruce Lee was called into the ring by Muhammad Ali and said, hit me. Seconds later, made history. And this is all AI. This never happened. But you see how AI is being used to deceive and mislead people? Look, I mean, look. They even got, is that Gaddafi? They got Elvis Presley there. There was never a talk show with Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee. Okay, check this shit out. This is AI generated.
Sound good tonight. I've been in a lot of rings, fought a lot of men, but this is the first time they handed me the bell and the microphone together. Now, when I used to talk before a fight, folks said, "Allie, hush up." Tonight they gave me a stage, a suit, and told me, "Keep talking." I'm confused, but I'm happy. Please welcome the one and only Bruce Lee.
Thanks, Chip.
Good to have you, my man. The crowd loves you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We got a full house tonight. And sitting with me is a man who's so quick the cameraman's got to chase him. Bruce Lee.
Good to be here.
Too fast for television, I'm telling you. Blinking, he's in another time zone.
You move so quick, I swear I need a slow motion camera just to see you come in a box of blink. You gone already.
That's because you blink too much.
You see? And this looks so believable. This actually looks like Muhammad Ali, and this actually looks like Bruce Lee. But Bruce Lee and Muhammad Ali never actually met in real life. But you see, AI... Let me see, it's going down here. Look, this is from Abraham Latif. This is artificial intelligence. Okay, Muhammad Ali never actually met Bruce Lee. This is artificial intelligence. You see that? And if you didn't know history, you would think this video was real. You would think this actually happened. AI or whatever, it may be super to see both heroes. Okay, this is pretty amazing in a way. Okay, let's see. Coming soon, AI will make movies with Fool. It will be a great meeting. Okay, this is by Prince D1100. AI is frightening, making this look so real. You see? So, you see, through Esau's technology, he has the power to deceive people. For there shall arise false anointeds and false prophets, and shall show great signs, like that video I showed you there for an example. Ali meeting Bruce Lee for the first time. That's an example of a great sign, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. But it's not possible to deceive the elect. Okay? So you got AI trying to rewrite history. You see? Now imagine what else they can do. Okay? I mean, come on, like give it. And I'm not saying this is actually going to happen, but for an example, give it about 50 or 100 years. They would have Michael Jackson looking like a AI would literally have Michael Jackson looking like a complete cracker. Okay? He'll have blue eyes, pale skin, blonde hair, except he will still have on the Michael Jackson clothes, the Michael Jackson shoes, and he'll be doing all of Michael Jackson dances, looking like a complete cracker. Knowing damn well that at one point in life, Michael Jackson actually had brown skin and woolly hair. Until he bleached his skin and permed his hair. Okay? So you see how dangerous AI is? AI, 50 years, 100 years from now, AI will have everyone believing that the Messiah actually did look like a cracker. And that, 50 years, 100 years ago, the Messiah came down to the earth and peace was spread throughout the whole world. You see? So, they want AI to become the ultimate interpreters of the Holy Scriptures to deceive the masses of the people. But anyways, I don't want to make this video too long. This devil's speaking great things against the Most High. Let's get that in the book of Daniel real quick before I close it out. Daniel chapter 7 verse, I don't know the actual verse, so I'll just do that. Daniel chapter 7, and I'll just start at 24. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them. And he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. Okay? And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. You see that? And shall think to change times and laws. That AI video that I showed you, that's an example of him changing times and laws. That's an example of him changing times. Because once upon a time, Bruce Lee never met Ali. It says, and they are given into his hand unto a time and the times and the dividing of times. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom. It's on to the next one.